Homelessness is a silent plague that's sweeping America. As years go on, more and more people become homeless, whether they're teenagers or seniors in what should be their golden years. As the homeless population grows, so do the number of panhandlers asking the community for money. Unfortunately, this also leads to some individuals abusing the system. For one Virginia woman, she was about to find out the hard way that homelessness doesn't pay. Very well known among the residents of Richmond, Virginia, Mika Lee Dominguez could usually be found at different intersections in the city asking for money. She was known for her very aggressive attitude and pushy nature. And after an incident was caught on camera, she'd be known for so much more. Not much was known about Mika, except for what people saw of her on the streets. Thanks to a viral video, her antics and behaviors towards the public are well documented, and it doesn't paint her in the best light. Shaking empty bags and envelopes at cars stopped at the stoplight and begging for spare change aggressively are just a small slice of her daily shenanigans. Asking for money is nothing new for homeless individuals, and for some, they can just get by with the cash they earn on the streets, sometimes for years. Mika may have had the same luck and gone unnoticed, except her attitude was a major problem. Due to her ruthless tactics to shake people down for money, she created a reputation for herself where she was known for her nasty and over-the-top exchanges with people. If you ran into Mika, you better have some cash to fork over. While one of the videos of Mika did make the rounds on social media, it isn't the only form of documentation of her crazy antics. Another video caught her while in a fit of rage being filmed, where she cursed and made offensive gestures at the camera. Overall, this homeless woman was not grateful and even seemed to have an air of entitlement. Familiar with Mika's nasty attitudes and almost violent begging to the public, two local Richmond men decided to take matters into their own hands. One day, as she was panhandling in the middle of a median, they decided to film her as she paced down the line of cars at the light. Immediately, they realized something was quite suspicious in terms of her behavior. The men decided to follow Mika as she left her begging post and headed over to a fast food restaurant's parking lot. Their video continued at this moment and revealed a shocking truth about the supposed homeless woman. As they approached Mika, they caught her rummaging through her things on the hood of a 2014 Fiat SUV. It soon became clear that the car was actually hers. As the scheme began to crumble, the reality of the situation clicked into place for the two men. This woman was not poor. In fact, she was pretty well off. The men continued to follow Mika, who finally took notice and became very suspicious of the men. However, they had a plan to nail her in the scheme she was pulling. They waited patiently until they had a clear view of her face on the camera and then accused her of fraud. Of course, since she was known for her aggressive attitude, she immediately responded with a threat to call the police, something she would later regret, big time. The accusation by the two men walked a very fine line and by some could have been seen as highly inappropriate. Homeless people tend to live very hard lives, and just because they have some nice clothing doesn't mean they're actually committing fraud. In fact, some homeless own cars and live in them daily. As the men continued to follow Mika, she began to clearly panic. She rushed to the drive-thru window of the restaurant, hoping to bring the staff into the confrontation. The woman continues to act confused, not sure of why she's being accused of deceiving people, while also threatening to call the police over and over. Clearly, something was very off with the woman and her story. But what was it? During the confrontation, which lasts several minutes, Mika had the opportunity to get in her car and leave on more than one occasion. Some believe that this could have incriminated her even more, and according to local news, the car may not even have been hers. In fact, some evidence points to it being a rental. The plot thickens. Refusing to admit to fraud and claiming she's being harassed, Mika called the police on the two men filming her. However, once they got involved, things didn't necessarily go according to her plan. In fact, she may have made things much worse for herself by placing a target on her back. The two men chose to post the video of Mika and her antics online, and the video immediately went viral. Of course, the residents of Richmond were reasonably angry, believing that this woman had preyed on their kindness and good nature. Soon, Mika found herself harassed by the locals when trying to panhandle on the median. One man even went as far as holding a "she's not homeless" sign next to her all day. With the video going viral and revealing her scheme, Mika's aggressive behavior only got worse. She lashed out at people on the street, called the police to complain about harassment, and even began to throw drinks at parked cars. Given her history in the area, the attitude wasn't surprising, but it wasn't painting her in the best of light or helping her case of being a poor homeless woman. You're under arrest. Unfortunately for Mika, the police were not about to protect her from the scary locals. In fact, they arrested her for throwing bottles or missiles at cars. Talk about a shocking turn of events for someone who claimed to be a victim. Mika's story soon took the media by storm, with many wondering who she was and how she got away with scamming people for so long. There were many mysteries surrounding her and her actions, but a social media post by a Richmond local attempted to clear up that matter. According to a post on Facebook, Mika Dominguez was part of a gypsy group that panhandled all over the state of Virginia. The post also confirmed that the Fiat belonged to the group and that they had up to 3 cars they used to pull off the scheme. Of course, these allegations remain unconfirmed, so have to be treated as a rumor for now, but it does seem to fit in with what the videos of Mika revealed. After her arrest, Mika and her aggressive antics disappeared from the Richmond area. According to some locals, they've spotted her in different areas, but it seems she wisened up and decided to move her operation elsewhere. This is probably for the best, considering the circumstances. Mika Dominguez's actions are a disgrace. She not only embarrassed herself, but her scheme was a direct insult to the real homeless people of America. We can only hope that people who fake being homeless don't sway the public from helping those who are really in need of a helping hand.